The Galactic Council chambers hummed with the low frequency of 1,000 species breathing, thinking, existing in careful harmony. Mia stood at the observation deck, her crystalline form refracting the light of distant stars into patterns that spoke of her anxiety. As a daughter of the Luminari, beings of pure energy contained within living crystal, she had been raised to value logic, predictability, and the cold mathematics of survival. Today, those values demanded she marry a human. Ambassador Mia, the Council's voice resonated through her consciousness. The treaty requires a bond. The humans are unpredictable, dangerous, but they control 70 systems now, and their expansion threatens the stability we have maintained for 10,000 years. She had studied humans extensively. They were short-lived creatures burning through their decades with reckless passion. They felt too much, wanted too much, and somehow, impossibly, had clawed their way from a single planet to become a force that made even the ancient Hive Lords nervous. The human they chose for her was named Max. He arrived at the ceremonial hall wearing what humans called a suit, though it seemed unnecessarily restrictive compared to the flowing energy garments of her people. Max was tall by human standards, with dark hair that fell slightly over his eyes, and a smile that seemed to contain both apology and defiance. "Ambassador Mia," he said, executing a bow that was technically correct, but somehow infused with a casual irreverence that made the Luminary witnesses shimmer with disapproval. "I'm told we're getting married to prevent a war. Not exactly the romance novels promised, but I've had worse first dates." Mia's form pulsed with confusion. "Humor? Now? This is a matter of galactic stability, human." "Max," he corrected gently. "And yeah, I know. Heavy stuff. But we're still people, right? Even in a political marriage, we might as well try to know each other." The ceremony was brief, conducted in 17 languages simultaneously, binding them through quantum entanglement protocols that would allow each to sense the other's general state across any distance. It was meant to ensure neither could betray the peace without the other knowing. What the Luminari hadn't anticipated was what it meant to be quantum entangled with a human soul. The first night, Mia felt it, a blazing, chaotic warmth that poured through the connection like solar wind. Not thoughts exactly, but emotions so vivid they had texture and weight. Max was feeling everything. Anxiety about the marriage, yes, but also wonder at the stars visible from their diplomatic quarters. Grief for a brother lost in the border skirmishes that had necessitated this peace. Hope that maybe, just maybe, this could work. And beneath it all, a determination so fierce it felt like standing near a star's surface. "Do you ever stop feeling?" Mia asked him the next morning, her form flickering with exhaustion. Max looked up from the human beverage he called coffee, surprised. "You can sense that? I thought the entanglement was just for big stuff, betrayal, danger, that kind of thing. Your emotions are loud," Mia admitted. "How do you function like this? Don't you burn out?" Something shifted in Max's expression, softer, sadder. "Sometimes we do," he said quietly. "Humans burn bright and fast, Mia. We've only got maybe 80, 90 years if we're lucky. So we feel hard, love hard, fight hard. We don't have the luxury of your 1,000-year perspective." Over the following weeks, Mia began to understand what the Council had feared about humans. They were indeed unpredictable, but not because they were chaotic, because they were capable of impossible things when they cared enough. She watched Max negotiate with the Hive Lords, species that communicated through pheromones and had terrorized the galaxy for millennia. He sat in their presence without weapons, without backup, and simply talked. When they tried to intimidate him, she felt his fear spike through their bond, but also his resolve. He didn't ignore his fear. He acknowledged it and acted anyway. "Courage isn't the absence of fear," he told her later when she asked how he had remained steady. "It's being terrified and doing the right thing anyway." The assassination attempt came in the third month, a faction opposed to the peace, elements from both human and Luminari extremists, struck during a diplomatic dinner. Mia saw the weapon, a disruptor that would shatter her crystalline form into 1,000 pieces, each one dying slowly, painfully. Max moved. Humans weren't fast by galactic standards. Dozens of species had quicker reflexes, stronger bodies, superior senses. But Max moved with something beyond physical speed, with intent, with purpose. with the absolute certainty of someone who had decided what mattered. He took the blast meant for her. Mia caught him as he fell, her crystalline hands cradling his fragile organic form. Through their bond, she felt his pain, searing, overwhelming, the kind of agony that would have shattered a Luminari's consciousness. But beneath the pain, that star-bright determination still burned. "You're okay," he whispered, blood on his lips. "That's what matters. You're dying for a political arrangement." Mia's form blazed with emotions she had never named, never felt before. "We barely know each other." Max smiled, and through their bond she felt the truth he was too weak to speak. He hadn't done it for politics. In 3 months of living together, of sharing thoughts and fears and hopes across their quantum connection, something had changed, for both of them. "I know enough," he managed. The medical team saved him barely. Human resilience combined with Luminary healing technology kept him alive, though recovery would take months. Mia never left his side. As Max slept, she finally understood what the Council had feared. Not human aggression or human unpredictability, but this, the way humans loved. Completely, unreasonably, with a ferocity that defied logic and self-preservation. They didn't calculate acceptable losses. They simply decided what they valued and held on with both hands. Consequences be damned. When Max woke 3 days later, Mia's first words surprised them both. "Teach me," she said, her crystalline form hovering close to his hospital bed. "Teach me how to burn like you do." Max laughed, then winced at the pain it caused. "It hurts, Mia. Feeling this much, it's not always beautiful. Sometimes it's just pain." "I know," Mia said. And she let him feel through their bond what she had discovered, that she was already burning, that somewhere between his terrible jokes and his impossible courage, and his willingness to die for someone he'd barely known, she had learned to feel in ways her people had forgotten. "Then I'll teach you," Max promised, taking her crystalline hand in his warm, fragile human one. "And maybe you can teach me how to think before I jump in front of weapons." "Deal," Mia said, and in the heart of her crystalline form, something that felt remarkably like a human smile began to shine. The marriage had been arranged for peace, but in the end it became something neither the Council nor their respective governments had planned for. It became real. And in becoming real, it became the foundation of a new alliance, one built not on treaties and calculations but on the simple, revolutionary idea that maybe the humans had been right all along. Maybe burning bright and fast was better than fading slowly. Maybe feeling everything was better than feeling nothing. Maybe love, illogical, impractical, impossible love, was the strongest force in the galaxy. And as Mia held Max's hand through his long recovery, feeling his determination and hope and stubborn human optimism flowing through their bond like liquid fire, she finally understood why humanity had frightened the ancient powers of the galaxy. Not because humans were strong, but because their souls burned like stars and anyone who got close enough couldn't help but catch fire too.